You cannot say you are coming to sack the Attorney General. You are coming to sack the CJ, the Chief Justice. You are coming to sack the person in charge of the public service. You are coming to sack the security details and the bosses. Immediately you are sworn in. And they are the ones who are coming to swear you in. That was the failure of Raila Odinga in 2007.
The unspeakable law stipulates that as soon as something is mentioned, if it is good, it goes away. If it is bad, it happens. Today on the Political Oracle, we share the truth behind the 2027 elections. My name is Pendo Setim, and as usual, I'm joined by Dr. Michael Ndonyi. Karibu sana daktari.
Asante sana Pendo.
Uko aje leo?
Niko poa.
Hata mimi niko poa.
Yeah, waiting to hear what we have today.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about the difference between incumbent elections and succession elections.
Yeah.
And now, since our history has always been loud, we've seen a scenario whereby incumbent elections tend to be more volatile than succession elections. But before we dive into that, maybe you can highlight for us the difference between incumbent elections and succession elections.
Okay, of course we know when we talk about the incumbent elections and succession elections, different people can call them different names. And we go back to the Constitution. That our Constitution now, the 2010 Constitution stipulates that a president will only be eligible to have a re-election once. So they are supposed to serve for the first term, and then the citizens are given another chance to re-elect the president. If they think the president need not to go for the second term, then they can have another president on board. And of course, it is not about the president only, it's also about the governor, the MP. Citizens are given a chance after every 5 years to bring another person on board. Of course, that was done, and it is very clear, especially for the presidency, it is 2 terms. You cannot go beyond 2 terms, but you can go less than 2 terms. That means 1 term, and then you are removed as president through the vote. So when we talk about the incumbency, we are talking about when a regime is running, especially the president, to be re-elected. It means they have served their first term and they are seeking a re-election to serve for the second term. But once that second term is done, it means now we will have completely new people, and especially the president, to the ballot. That means the person who has been holding power cannot be elected again. They are not eligible for re-election. That was Uhuru Kenyatta in 2022. He had served his 2 terms. He was not eligible to be re-elected. So by law, he was barred from seeking re-election. So in 2022, new people were coming and new president. That's why we were talking about the 5th president. Uhuru was the 4th president, both in the first term and also in his second term. Now, in 2027, we will have either the 5th president be re-elected, or we can have the 6th president. That means the incumbent will be contesting. Elections where incumbents are contesting are usually very hot and emotional. But when the incumbent is not contesting, that means either by choice they decide not to contest, or by the Constitution they decide they are bad. Of course, that will be if Ruto is re-elected in 2027. So we will not have President Ruto contesting. For the second term, unless he is defeated in 2027. All right. Which is rare in Africa.
And as you've said, incumbent elections, for example, the 2007 was volatile. And the 2017
the same. And the 2027 is likely to be the same.
So in your honest opinion, why do you think they are mostly volatile?
Of course, because of the expectations of the people. Like now, many people are frustrated by the current government. When you get into power, and I usually say this, even on other TV shows, that power is like hot water and a politician is like a tea bag. When a tea bag is dipped into hot water, which is power, they lose flavor. The kind of flavor that people had with Ruto prior to 2022 is not the same. When he got into power, you lose much of your influence and the taste with the people.
Okay.
So that now, for 5 years, people have seen the good and the bad of Ruto regime. 2, during the incumbent contests, the incumbent has an advantage of using state resources for their campaign. And that makes everything that they do suspicious. The citizens feel that this person has an advantage that the other people do not have. And that is why the issue of stolen elections are usually during the incumbent presidency.
Okay.
It is very rare for the succession politics, especially when the incumbent is not contesting, to have stolen elections. And if they are stolen at a smaller range or smaller scale. But at a large scale, an incumbent is likely to steal elections in many ways. 1, by using the state machinery. 2, by using the state resources. 3, by using his influence, of course, to make sure even those organizations and agencies that support him pump resources to ensure that they stay in power.
Okay.
And that is why in most cases in Africa and also in global south countries, they usually say if someone is elected more than twice, they become dictators. It is because they are dictating. They have the power to dictate the direction of elections outcome. That is why you realize there are very high tensions when people are headed to that election. Like we will have more tensions when we will be headed to 2027, more than we had in 2022.
Okay.
We had more tensions towards 2017 elections more than we had when we were doing the 2013 elections. So that is usually how politics is designed, and the psychology of politics is designed to be like that. So it's all about the expectation. It's all about people now trying to think, we are going to be with this government for another term. Another perspective comes from the government itself.
Okay.
A re-elected government knows that we have no other chance for re-election. That means they can misuse resources. They can govern the way they want, knowing that this is our last term. We have no debt to pay. We are not going to benefit by performing well.
Okay.
Because we are not seeking any re-election again. So by knowing that, the president may decide whether I perform or I don't perform, I can do the way I want. Unless that president is a legacy-oriented person, the only thing that makes a re-elected president to perform is if they want legacy. And that is an issue of morality.
Okay.
If they want to guard their integrity, their performance in the second time is determined by their integrity, their wish to leave a legacy, and that is an issue of political morality. They are not compelled. To them, they feel that they are not compelled by law, by constitution to perform. And that is why people have a lot of concern when someone is coming for the second term.
Okay, thank you, Daktari. And as you mentioned, Ruto's regime has been mad with dissent.
Yeah.
For example, we saw in 2023 March, there were the high cost of living protests. Then came 2024, the anti-finance bill protests. And then the 2025, which was also a commemoration of the 2024 protests.
Yeah.
So are we looking at another showdown in 2027?
Yeah, we are likely to see another showdown. Of course, one of the problems we have in 2027, we do not have a strong united front that is likely to challenge the current president.
Okay.
Kenya has not been able to mentor people who are presidential material. In fact, we are in short supply of presidential material in this country.
So maybe there is no one who can beat Ruto.
There is no one who is going to challenge him to an extent of creating tensions among the people. Because tensions are more, especially when we have two strong, equally strong fronts facing one another. You know, it is just like in soccer. For example, if a weak team is playing a strong team, There are no tension. We already know this one is going to beat this one. They are not equal. So battles of two unequal sides have no tension. But suppose you are waiting for a battle where both teams have possibility of winning. The tension is high because you don't know who is going to win, how it's going to be. So in 2027, there is likely to be no tension because we do not have strong contestant who is going to face the current government.
Okay.
Unless it is formed, of course, we still have time. Unless there is a very strong front that is threatening Ruto, we are not going to have tensions. And we are likely to have one of the weakest contested elections where the incumbent is contesting in 2027. We saw such kind of a case in 1997. The opposition was divided. It was the second time after multi-party democracy. Because 𝐘𝐥𝐿 was there, Matiba, and some other guys were there with President Moi. By then, it was not about 50+1. It was about the winner who takes the majority of the votes. The tension was not very high. So we are likely to see this time round, especially if the opposition is going to be dispersed the way it is likely to be. Actually, we are likely to see very many presidential candidates this time round and very few coalitions. We are going to have a very strong coalition and a very weak coalition.
Okay, Daktari, also still in the 2027 polls, since there seems to be an advantage of incumbency, maybe how much influence does a sitting president have over independent institutions, like, for example, the IEBC, the judiciary?
Politics is like what we call the force of gravity. It is the nature of human beings that human beings gravitate towards power, whether we like it or not. If today, for example, Gachagua calls you and gives you an appointment to see him in a particular day, then in the same day you receive a call from President Ruto. And President Ruto gives you an appointment to see him the same day, the same hour. Whom would you choose to listen to?
President Ruto.
Why?
Because he's more powerful.
Exactly. Now, that is how structures work. Towards 2027, how much influence is Ruto going to have on, for example, the state? He is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. As long as he is president, he will command state resources to go where he wants them to go. And he will be with the security up to the last time when he will hand over power to the next president if he is not elected. And that is the influence that the incumbent usually have. They will have power and command and influence to all the other powerful agencies in the political structure of the country, more than any other person. Actually, other presidential candidates' power and influence is dependent on his mercy. And that is how politics is.
Okay.
So he is going to have influence, a big influence to the state corporations, because as long as he is president and he has not handed power, any other person will bow to him and call him Your Excellency.
Okay.
And there is nothing we can change about that. That's how the structure of politics work.
Okay.
So he is going to be very influential in very many ways.
And now lastly, looking at the history of incumbent elections, what are some of the lessons that we can learn to guarantee peaceful polls come 2027?
Of course, to me, I will be very specific on this and say there is nothing we can learn from the past. Because what we can learn on the past is how the current government is going to be of significance in ensuring that the elections are fair and free. But of course, I can tell you, President Ruto is not praying that another person becomes president. He is praying that he becomes president for the second term. That means his prayer also follows his allocation of resources. He is going to allocate resources in those institutions and structures that are going to ensure he is re-elected. And that is why, for example, when we talk about the IEBC, he is going to make sure the IEBC people are actually in his favor. When we talk about, for example, the registration of new voters, the voter distribution across the country is likely to ensure that that voter distribution is going to favor him. So that is what we have seen with the former governments. And of course, what we ask of him is to make sure the elections are free and fair, whether he is going to be re-elected or not. And that if he is going to have as minimal interference with the elections as possible. Minimal, because interference must be, even if I was president, I would still meddle into the affairs, because that's the nature of human beings. We want power. Power is good, power is sweet, although it is transient. Every other person, and you should not be lied to, including Nelson Mandela, who actually we usually celebrate for having served for one term. He left because he was old.
Not because
not because he wanted. And also, it was because of his promise he had made. He was keeping his promise. Of course, it is possible for politicians to break their promises. But he was a person of integrity up to that particular point. And of course, he must have been forced by even external deep state to step down and make sure the government is given to another person. And actually, not only recalibrating the way the politics of South Africa are, but also giving politics in Africa a new definition to show also the maturity of the South African politics. So, of course, what we can learn is some things like that. The 2027 election, just like any other incumbent elections, are likely to be volatile if the government does not act well. Kibaki tried it. In fact, the reason why Kibaki interfered with the elections at the last minute is because he had decided to have very little interference with the elections. Karibu Kimurambe. But his people were not ready to let power go to Raila Odinga. Why? Because of the kind of, let me call it braggadocio, the kind of pride that Raila was promising to take power with, promising to even punish Kibaki himself, promising to punish people who were to swear him. In fact, one of the, let me call it the political economy of Kibaki refusing to go out of power. It was not him. Actually, it was his internal deep state saying, no, you will not hand power to this person. You cannot say you are coming to sack the Attorney General. You are coming to sack the CJ, the Chief Justice. You are coming to sack the person in charge of the public service. You are coming to sack the security details and the bosses. Immediately you are sworn in. And they are the ones who are coming to swear you in. On earth, who can do that? No. That was the failure of Raila Odinga in 2007. He had promised to restructure the power after the people are put into power. So how could they expect the Chief Justice to come and swear him, and then he sacks and punishes him? And that was the folly of the Pentagon. They lost because they behaved badly prior to their taking power. Even when the elections were not announced, they should have behaved that after they won the election. But they behaved badly. They threatened the very same people who were actually to give them power. And then the very same people decided, no, you have won, but we are not going to give. We will give to someone who we are comfortable with. Then they forced Kibaki back into presidency. Kibaki was ready to leave. And that is a big lesson, especially to the opposition. Of course, that has been the doctrine of the ODM. They are so proud that people feel unsafe in their hands. And immediately you threaten the structures, you threaten the deep state before you get the power. They work day and night to make sure you never come closer to that power.
Thank you so much, Daktari. This was a very interesting discussion. Until we meet next time, bye-bye.